got Ramsbottom captain Tom Kennedy with us, joining us on this. I wonder if anyone had any questions. You can ask him about absolutely anything, can't you, Tom, about your professional career or anything you want to ask him. Fire away. Now, if you don't want to ask him like personally, you can put it in the chat as well, and I'll ask him for you if you want.
I got a couple of questions that were sent to me.
All right.
So the first one was, he said, Tom, how did you find going from pro football to semi-pro football in terms of the standard and everything and fitness?
I'll be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised purely from a personal point of view with not only, the standard's never going to be like a pro standard. You're not training every day. You're not committed 100% your life to being a professional footballer like I was for, nearly, I think it was 15 seasons. But stepping out into a part-time environment, I genuinely thought that I'd do it for maybe a couple of months and then I'd say, it's not for me because I was so used to being a pro. But genuinely, it was brilliant, and it has been brilliant for the last. I know we've had the COVID pandemic that's ruined the last 2 seasons, but the other times that I've been involved with, I think it was a season and a half of proper momentum that we had at Rami, and I've loved every second of it. You get some really good young players coming through, and some good senior lads that drop out of the league or have already been around that sort of standard their whole careers, and like I said, it was surprising. Like I say, it's never going to be like a pro standard, but it's a real good grounding for, personally, I think, for young players who, it's like anything in life, you get out what you put in, and if you really commit to it, that's a sort of a semi-pro side and sort of progress through the leagues, you can quite easily make it as a pro. I'm a firm believer in that because it's all about putting the work in, and I've enjoyed it, and I recommend it to anybody, and I say it all the time when I meet people out and about. I say it's the last 3 years have been some of the most enjoyable of my footballing career.
Brilliant. Yeah, cheers, Tom. Another question was it's similar to that though. How fit do you need to be at semi-pro level now? How often do you train? I know the lads obviously train once a week because we've got a game, but how often do you train, Tom?
Well, I think of it a bit like muscle memory because, I'm nearly 36, but I'm still probably one of the fittest in the team. And I like to keep myself in good condition anyway, but coming from a pro background of training every day, pretty much for the last, 15, 16 years of my life, it's held me in good stead. But I suppose it's like good habits. If you keep yourself in good trim and you're doing extra outside of training itself, eating right, and really working hard when you are actually working. Anybody can train 5 times a week, but if you're not really, pushing yourself and taking yourself to that next level, then there's no point doing it. I'd rather you train twice a week and really put it in and really sort of progress and see progress within whatever you're trying to improve on. So, I think within the pro game, it's a different elite fitness, but we've been doing the February fundraiser, and there's some unbelievable distances that lads have covered, with full-time work and, commitments of family and stuff like that, and they're still putting the work in. So I think the game's changing in a lot of ways. I still love semi-pro football because it is serious. It's not just a jolly up, and lads do want to win games, but it's not life and death, which is the pro game, because, the ups and downs that you go through when you're playing professional football is a lot different than you are at a semi-pro football, because most of the time we've got full-time jobs as well.
Yeah, and another one here, cheers, Tom. Don't know how much you want to give her this one, but what advice would a 36-year-old Tom Kennedy give a 16-year-old Tom Kennedy now?
Do you know what? I never say.
Apart from going around Rami all the time.
It was Bury then back then, not Rami. So I would never say shoulda, woulda, coulda, because I think everything that I've done within my life, good and bad, has led me to this point now. So, I'm sort of quite content with how my life has panned out and my career in that sense. I managed to start at Bury, my local club, worked my way up to the Championship, played nearly, 80, 90 games in the Championship, which probably is in the top, 10 best leagues in the world. So, like to say that I achieved what I wanted to achieve. And, there's always that thing where somebody said, he could have gone on to more, he could have done this, he could have done that. But there's no sure would have could have for me, because I achieved my boyhood dream for 15 years of playing professional football. So I honestly wouldn't give myself any advice. What I would say is that I always believed that I was going to be a professional footballer no matter what happened, and I committed to it. I probably did socialise too much when I was a youngster, but that was the culture back then. There was a culture of going out and sort of being around your teammates constantly, and that did involve alcohol. But the culture's not there like that anymore. And I think if lads focus and give 10% on what they want to do and what they want to achieve, it doesn't matter if you want to play football or you want to be a brain surgeon. I just believe that if you commit to it and you believe that you're going to do it, then there's a very good chance that you'll either achieve it or come very close to it.
And cheers, Tom. Yeah, and from my point of view, I asked you to come on tonight, and I'm really pleased that you have. It's just to say that for us, me running the development squad, one of the biggest things I've got, as you know, we've got Regan Jarrett, who's a budding left back now, and it's so, I'm not saying it because but it's so good that I can just send Regan down to the club on a Saturday and say, I don't have to tell him what I want him to do, just watch you, and you're a good example of you really give the ball away. You've probably been our best player the last 3 years. So long may that continue. I don't know if any of the other lads have got questions, but I'm just putting Matty Frampton on the spot. I know he watches Rami all the time. You must have a question for the skipper there. Put you on the spot. I'll let you think.
He's thinking, am I? Like, it's hard to put people on the spot and give questions and stuff like that. Just a bit of background of me, obviously playing, turning pro when I was 17 for my boyhood club and that sort of thing. And times were a lot different back then. Like I said, Bury were a bit relegation fodder, and it was hard times with the Bury buckets and that sort of thing. But I just speaking purely from a development point of view, there wouldn't be much difference now to what Bury FC was back then to what Rami is, i.e. from the centre of excellence point of view. I think honestly, if the difference between the two back, we weren't getting paid, we were cleaning the stands, doing all sorts of ridiculously crazy jobs sort of thing. And I think it just gave us a good grounding of, there was constant roadblocks in our way, but if you sort of commit to it and give 100%, I honestly believe that you've got a good chance of making it as a professional. And if you don't make it professional, you fall slightly short. There's nothing wrong with playing in the conference. There's nothing wrong with playing in the Conference North, because there's, not just saying it from a financial point of view, but there's a lot of good clubs out there that are paying very good wages. And it's a fantastic job. Like I say, whether you're full-time or semi-pro, to pick up extra money to play something that you love is a great, career, and to learn whilst you're doing it, because I did the exact same thing. I didn't really use it, which is fine, but I did a sports science degree whilst I was at Bury as a youngster. And, it held me in good stead because it was always on my CV when I transitioned of coming out of football. And that's the same for anybody whenever they come out of it, because it doesn't matter when you come out of it 25 or 30 or 35. You're going to have to do something else after football unless you get up to that top 1% of footballers who'll never have to work again.
Yeah, cheers for that. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. Over to you, Dom.
Right, yeah, cheers. Has anyone else got any more questions before Tom?
Yeah.
Go on, Matt.
How do you manage a part-time job with playing football?
Well, I never had a part-time job when I was playing for 15 years. It was kind of, I just sort of decided to leave the professional game because I was dropping down the leagues to the last professional class club that I played for was in the Welsh Prem, called Bangor City. And they played in the Europa League, and it was a good experience to go there. But I got to an age where I realised that this wasn't going to be my job forever anymore. So I had a choice to make, whether to continue sort of what you might say flogging a dead horse and keep trying to pick up little bits of money here and there, or think about a career after football. And I'd always been quite ambitious to do something after football and try and recreate the money that I'd earned whilst I was playing. So I decided to do some exams and become a financial advisor. So I pretty much moved straight into full-time football, full-time work whilst playing part-time football. And like I said, I didn't expect to stay at Ramia more than a couple of months maybe, but here I am 3 years later and still, like I say, enjoying the training and the playing and being around a good set of lads, because the most important thing for me at this stage of my career is enjoying my football and being around good people, and Rami's full of good people, and non-league is full of good people as well. It's a juggling. It is hard because my missus and having 2 kids would say to me, any chance you stopping football? And I say, once I stop, that's me done forever. So I'll keep playing whilst I'm not making a fool of myself.
Yes, Tom, has anyone else got a question before Tom goes?
Yeah, do you mind if I just, Tom, I hope you agree with us having the academy at Rami, that we're trying to push the club into an education facility, but by giving the lads this chance that they can be training every day, is it giving them a taster of what it would be part like to be a pro footballer, as well as giving them an education, as well as being in a decent club like Ramy?
Absolutely, and there's the bonds and the sort of training and the camaraderie that they'll get within being around people every day is second to none. You'll create friendships that will be there for the rest of your life. And on the side of that, you know, whether people go on to use their education, because obviously not every single person is going to be a professional footballer. You know, you might get 2 or 3 out of the whole sort of squad of players that might have a chance of moving on to being, you know, a League 2 player or a League 1 player or a Championship player or whatever. That's if you're lucky, because the percentages are small. But in the same sense, there is a chance. So when you train every day and you're honing your skills, you've got more of a chance than anything, and you're learning at the same time. Like I said before, it's the most important thing is that you're committed. You're not turn up just for the banter and the fact that, you know, you're playing football every day. It's not about that. It's about improving. It's about listening to the coaches. It's about pushing yourself every single day to be a better version of you. And whether that's from an education point of view or from a football point of view, because nothing in life comes easy. So you've got to push yourself, and that's the bottom line. You know, turn to football every day and just think it's jolly up. You'll never get anywhere. You've got to just put it in, and if you do that, then I honestly believe that you've got half a chance of becoming a pro.
Nice one. Cheers for that, Tom. Any more just before Tom goes? No, I think that's everything, Tom. Cheers for that. Thanks for
no problems
talking.
Appreciate that, Tom.
No problems, mate, at all.
Cheers. Nice one. See you later, Tom.
Yeah,